Hey everyone, in front of the camera here, I have a new for 2018 Fox Knives core. This is a Jesper Voxnes design, and it is produced by Fox Knives, which is a company out of Maniago, Italy. Taking a look at the design here, it's very clearly it's a Jesper Voxnes design by that blade shape and that signature thumb opening hole that he uses on a lot of his knives. So the Fox Knives core is an everyday carry knife that is meant to have quality materials but coming at a lower price. This one came in at $125. I got this from the only USA dealer I saw that had it in stock, which was something I didn't use before, which is called Knife Command. I'll put a link down to their website when I get a chance. They had this version with the black FRN handles, black Cerakoted blade, orange backspacer. The other versions they had was an OD green handle with a black anodized aluminum backspacer and black blade, and then finally a I think satin or stonewash blade, black handle, black backspacer. And I think they're supposed to come out with a blue FRN handle, orange backspacer, and satin or stonewash blade. I can't remember exactly what that is. So again, this is supposed to be a lower price knife here at $125. We'll get kind of in a discussion with that when we compare it to some other knives that are out there. Basically, we have FRN handles, nested stainless steel liners. This runs on cage ball bearings, so it is actually pretty smooth. And we also have M690 CO steel, which is very common in these Italian made knives. What I've heard, it's supposed to be similar to VG10 steel, but you know, an improvement on that. So there you go, there's just kind of a look at overview of that. The knife ships in a pretty standard cardboard box. Nothing special with that. It does include a little Torx wrench for working on the knife. They're all T8 around the knife, so pretty simple there. Again, Fox Knives out of Maniago, Italy. Hey, look at that. So you have T8 for the pivot, and then T8 for the body screws here. You have one that holds in the backspacer and one that holds in the other half of the backspacer and the pocket clip. Yeah, pretty deep carried pocket clip. Very similar to the Spyderco wire pocket clip, and not that difficult to swap if you want to. And so I swapped this over for left-hand carry. As long as they didn't put Loctite in the rest of the screws, there was no Loctite in the pocket clip screws, so it was very easy to swap over. Again, this is very smooth because it's running on those cage ball bearings. And what I like about this is that you can flip this open with the flipper tab, or you can deploy this with that thumb hole that Jesper Voxnes has designed, and it works well. Actually works a little bit better. Well, I'm not right-handed, but as you can tell here, there's a little bit more of a cutout there for getting access to that thumb hole on the right side, so that is a little bit easier. Now if I was right-handed, I'm sure, there we go. And I can still flip this right-handed, so the detent is dialed in nicely. Once you pass that detent hole, or once you pass the detent ball there, you can shake it closed. So it is pretty smooth. Lockup out of box is solid. I mean, there is no play whatsoever. This thing locks up real well. Give you an idea, there's a liner lock there. Now this is kind of heavy. I'll get the scale out also later. They did do some skeletonizing on those liners, but I think overall it's that blade stock that makes this a little heavy. So you have about a 3-inch blade. I think that's what they're listing it online. Yeah, about 3-inch cutting surface. I'll give you a size comparison because it's kind of hard to tell sometimes exactly how large the blade is. Here is it next to a Benchmade mini grip. So very common knife there. So there you go. So yeah. It's got a little bit more cutting length than the Benchmade mini grip because you're about at 3 inches. You know, the handle, you know, this, I don't know what dimension you call that, but that dimension's wider, of course. And it's heavier, you know, give you a reference there. There's a blade stock thickness, so yeah, this is kind of a beefy knife. And let's get into some other comparisons here. A Viper Odino, which is another Voxnez design, very similar in design. Very similar in blade length, handle length. These are both pretty beefy knives there. Look at the blade stock. So, put that away for a second. So as far as value goes, I mean, $125 for FRN, not something that's, you know, S35 VN or M390 or equivalent. Instead you have the M690 CO, which is comparable to VG10, so some people will say that's not the best value. But I will say this is really well done. The FRN, even though it's clearly plastic FRN, it actually does feel really good in the hand. Now this design here, I don't know what you'd call that. That kind of like a webbing design. You know, starts down here and kind of expands out towards the pivot. It is the same on both sides here. It doesn't provide any traction, but it's not, you know, it's not like not finished. So it's not sharp, but doesn't really provide any traction. At the same time, it actually feels like it's higher quality FRN. Let me kind of put this in front of the camera, Steel will notice, because this is very similar in, you know, concept. You have FRN handles, aluminum backspacer, but this is out of China, this is out of Maniago, Italy. But I can tell you there is a difference in that FRN quality. This feels not cheap, but you know, it feels more plasticky. This actually feels more high quality, this FRN. And they both do have stainless steel liners, so that's not really the difference there. But there is no flex whatsoever in these FRN handles. So the FRN is done very well. There is not a single spot that's sharp on this. So you are paying for better finishing with those FRN handles. You know, the blade here in this version is black Cerakote. Should hold up very well to use. That aluminum backspacer is real nice. Again, put the Modus here in front. It's a little bit darker orange than the Modus. Not sure if you can, yeah, you can't really see the bearings in their camera. But this is very smooth. Give you a close-up on some of the markings there. Voxnez N690, Maniago, Italy, and there's the model number for this particular knife, and the Fox Knives logo. That's one of my favorite logos, I think, on production knives, is that little fox. I just think it looks really cool, really simple, but just different. So again, just really well done. And being a left-handed individual here, when you disengage either frame lock or liner lock knife, that's designed mostly for right-handed individuals, can kind of determine how well or how easy it is for a left-handed individual. And this one is not bad at all. So I can easily disengage that left-handed. Kind of contrast duodeno. It's a little bit more difficult to disengage that left-handed. Steel wool modus, not too bad. This is running on phosphor bronze washers, not bearings. So this is significantly smoother. Now value-wise, kind of brought this out as a comparison. Mass drop, Ferrum Forged Gent, S35VN, ball bearings, titanium liners. When these are available, you're talking about 80 bucks. Now again, this is produced by Wheat Knives, so out of China, so this is Chinese made. Italian made, just like USA made, usually calls for a little bit higher price. Just keep that in mind. I also brought this out as another comparison to look at that choil. This little choil really only serves as a sharpening choil. You can kind of choke up on it, but you're going to be really close to the cutting edge there. Ergonomically, it's not bad. I mean, this is a pretty relatively thick handle, so it allows for a good grip and it's comfortable. No real hot spots there. But yeah, you're not going to choke up on that. I mean, in comparison, this Mass Drop Gent, that choil is a little larger, even though this is a smaller knife, but it does allow you to choke up on, so just keep that in mind. That choil is mostly going to serve as a sharpening choil. Let's get out the scale just to give you some reference. Alright, make sure this thing is zeroed in. So, whoop. Okay, zero it back out. So again, 3-inch blade, FRN handles, 4.72 ounces, so this is relatively heavy. Again, let's take the steel wool modus out, 3.38. Again, I think a lot of that is because of the thickness of the stock of the blade. I mean, it does have stainless steel liners like I mentioned before, but there is some milling work done to that, so they have been lightened up. Now it is actually relatively well balanced. Balance point is just right about there, so really well done. Again, the Viper Odino is also kind of a heavy knife, 4.55 ounces, so it's, is that right? Yeah, so it's heavier than Odino? Okay, I guess it is. I did not think that when picking it up, but I guess it is heavier than Odino, at least one with the G10 show side there. But I think it's still going to sell well. I hope. Jesper Voxn's designs are very nice. Again, this blade shape is very similar to what he has in the Odino, and kind of like a Lion Steel SR1, SR2. Really nice blade shape. And you got all that belly up in the front and nice flat afterwards. But I like this because you can open it with both the Vox thumb hole, but it also makes a great flipper. The flipper tab, it's actually pretty small. It's not that bad. There's no jimping on the flipper tab or really on the rest of the knife. I mean, unless you want to call this on the backspacer jimping. But it works well. Push button or light switch. You know, this detent is really nice and dialed in. So there you have it, the Vox Knives core. Again, I was only able to find it on one dealer so far, but I'm sure it will start to show up on more USA dealers. Really neat knife. Could be overpriced, you might say, just because based on the materials, but again, this is out of Italy, not China, so it does demand a little higher price. So there you go. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and as always, thanks for watching.